Hey there Internet, Keeve here, and welcome to the Cars and Keeve YouTube channel. In this video, I'm very happy because I'm known as the foam cannon guy. I have my own scoring system for it, but I haven't had a foam cannon really worthy of doing a score on. Well, we now have the PWACCS, and yes, the acronyms are getting out of control on a lot of these Amazon products. Why can't they just come up with a catchy name that's just easy to remember? These guys are a little different with this hexagonal shaped bottle. The top is a normal kind of manifold that you would see, but it's electroplated, and they say that it's stainless steel and brass. It's very much like the Adams foam cannon, that really shiny finish right there. So let's just go ahead and go over the cons. Well, one of the biggest cons is they say on Amazon that this thing has the ability to go from your vertical to your horizontal. It does not. I have tried everything under the sun. I've taken it completely apart. I see no way to get this thing to go vertical, horizontal. All it does is allow you to go with your stream to your wide fan. Another thing I don't like is the bottle. It doesn't really fit your hand very well. They did put these little indentions right here to where you can kind of put your hand around. But if you got small hands, you are not going to be able to get them in there. So it's not getting great points for ergonomics there because the bottle is so big. And you would think that the hexagonal shape makes it better at balance. So as you can see here, we have these two little voids right here. They really mess up the balance. And then also, I don't know if you can really see it, see how it's domed? And you'll also see on here, I have Teflon tape already. The reason that is because I tried so hard to get this to balance well because it was getting on my nerves. It was just falling over on that little point, right? And the way mine came, which I don't know if they're all going to come that way, but when I put the top on, and I go to the point that it's right where it needs to be, this was dead on those indentions. Was creating a double scenario where it was unbalanced on that one side, plus the weight of the manifold was causing it to almost tip over just by blowing a little wind on or just barely tapping it with your finger. So what I did is I took it completely apart, I wrapped it with Teflon tape a lot, and then really tighten it down. And that changed where the nozzle was pointing to a better, more stable side. And that definitely does help the balance. I think this could have been way better as a product, but they failed right here. But that's it for the cons. Pros is it has a lot going for it. The problem is, everything it has going for it, everybody's already done. Like there's nothing new about it. It's put together in a different package. This manifold's been done before. Really haven't seen it done in this finish before. There's tons of them out there on Amazon. I don't see all of them. If I see it and it looks like something else, I just skip it because everything looks the same. This is kind of cool too. It has really cool markings on it. You can see, I mean, we're denominated from 100 milliliters all the way to 1500. They missed getting a perfect score here because they have no ounces, but it's really cool seeing these increments. Another big plus for this is a 1.5 liter, 1500 milliliters capacity. That gives it a perfect score in that category. Weight-wise, it's actually really good. It's right at 20 ounces, and that's kind of middle of the pack, and that's really good because this holds a lot more. It's a much larger bottle. The tightness of this turn for your adjustability is really good. When you set it to where you want it to be set to, it is not moving off of that point. And the top, the plastic is really harsh. It feels almost spring-loaded. When you turn it, it almost wants to pull back just a little bit. And when you're cranking it down, you can feel some resistance. Like it's a nice feel. The suction tube is actually slightly more flexible than most. Usually ones that are like this big. The hose is kind of hard. There's the manifold. It's pretty hefty up here. So, and the bottle's pretty light actually. As you can see, nothing is magnetic here. As you can see, it does have that MJJC style neck, but it is not the leak-proof kind. As you can see, there is a hole there, an aeration hole, vent hole. The ones that don't leak, they have like a diaphragm in there, a rubber one. So it does come with a Chanel type microfiber wash mitt here, but I mean, it is really small. My hand barely fits inside here. This feels really tight. It's just something that comes with it. Also comes with a nice little goodie bag here. You have a nozzle cleaning tool. You have an extra filter. And then you have a 1.1 orifice. The one that comes in the foam cannon is a 1.25. It's actually stamped on there that it's a 1.1. Never seen that before. You know how many of these that I've gotten all mixed up and had to use this tool to find out what is a 1.25 and what's a 1.1. Big congratulations to Johnny from Texas. He's the winner of the 10,000 subscriber giveaway, a full $500 pressure washer setup. Congratulations. There will be more to come. Make sure you check out that giveaway section at carswekeep.com. For testing, that's why I always have two pressure washers. We have an active 2.0, which is your higher end, higher GPM model, which we will only use the 1.25 orifice on. Because if you use a 1.1, you will go over the amps rated for the machine at 15 amps. Usually runs 15.5 to 16. Just a little bit too much. You're going to lessen the length of your pressure washer. Then up top there we have the Greenworks 1700. That is your normal out of the box big box store. Most of your Amazon stuff, all of them in that 1.2 gallons per minute area. And as always, we're using G-Technic citrus foam, 10:1 dilution ratio. We are running our normal Uberflex hose. We have our MTM SGS 28 gun. We are not using deionized water. We're just using straight tap water. We're not doing anything to benefit or add to the foaming ability. We're not using warm water. We're not using distilled water in the foam cannon. Now, unlike James Bond, we stir, we don't shake. We don't want to agitate the mix in here. We just want the soap and the water to mix together to create a nice pull through the siphon hose. Can it do it? Can it foam good? Or is it just going to be run-of-the-mill? So two things that are obvious. It does okay. It's not the worst in the world. I'm thinking I'll probably leave it right at that 7 score that it has. Maybe a 7.5 for the foam level with the Active 2.0. We'll save judgment for how it does with the Greenworks on a 1.1. Another thing is this thing leaks a little bit. Let me get you a close up on that. So see if you can notice. Now, if you haven't seen my previous video, we are using the new Ridge Washer nozzle guards, the 40 degree 4.0, and $19.99 for a 40 degree, 25 degree, a 15 degree, and a 0 degree. So like $5 a nozzle guard with everything included. Pretty cool. You should check out the video, link in the description below. Well, I guess it's orifice time, and if those of you out there don't know what I'm talking about, inside behind the quick connect here is a little bitty nozzle. So most of the newer ones have a quick connect here that actually can be just hand tight, but it does come torqued a little bit from the factory. This is a 16 millimeter. This is the tool that I use. I'll leave a link below, but I really love this for this kind of stuff. And then on the inside, it looks like a screw with like a flathead on it. We take a flathead screwdriver and then we remove that. Sometimes it can be a little tight. I've had actually people comment that they're having a tough time getting the quick connect off, or they're having a tough time getting the orifice out. Sometimes they use thread lock, and sometimes you're gonna have to use a little bit of leverage to get them out. We are adding our 1.1, flathead screwed in. Doesn't have to be extremely tight. It does have an end point. Once it hits it, it hits it. It's no more going. Put our quick connect on, and you will not need to use a tool to tighten this down. Hand tightens good enough. That O-ring is there for a reason. All right, Greenworks time. It's gonna be a little bit noisier now, but we have the 1.1. Like I said, 1.25 on the Active 2.0 was a little bit runny, so for sure it's not going to run 1.25. Let's see if there's any difference. Now that's more of what we were looking for. So you just see that thickness, the dimpling. It is staying on the surface a lot more. It's not thinning out as quickly, which is what we really would like. At least for myself, there are proponents to thick foam, thin foam, depending on what you're doing. Pre-soak doesn't have to be as thick. It just depends. But definitely for that lubricating layer for your contact wash, I like to foam the whole car down and have a layer already on the car. And this is what I'm really looking for. I want something slightly better than that. But if you use like DIY Details, Incredible Suds, you can use less than the G-Technic and get even more foam. So there's an alternative out there. There are soaps that foam more. I use the G-Technic because I've used that in every foam can review to keep the test controlled. If we're just switching around soaps, we truly don't know how well each one works. So we're going to run the Ridge Washer nozzle again. This is the 3.0 for the Greenworks and the Ryobi. Well, there you go. Lots of pros, a few cons. Now, the foam wasn't great and it wasn't the worst. It was middle of the pack. If you need the 1.1 to get the foam, that takes some points off. There's a lot of foam cannons that you can run a 1.25 on the Greenworks and get really good foam. You don't even need the 1.1. The manufacturing process on the bottom, that's your biggest con. If that was fixed, it would have had excellent balance and it just would have been better build quality, would have gotten a few more points there. But it is in 9th place out of the top 10 with a score of 71.4. I've done 19 foam cannons so far, so you're definitely in the middle of the pack at that 9th position. Hopefully something else will come down the road. I'm not going to do any more clones of the MJJC. It's just not worth it. I want something new, something that's different. So go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Check out carswithkeith.com. Check out the links below for anything in the video. Now let's get into the nerdy numbers, and then we'll have some bloopers after that. On foam 7.0, that's the middle line. Bottle 7.2. Function 6.9. Obviously the fact that it can't do a different fan spread and the leaking and a few other things, the function is down a little bit. Cost 8.0, that's on the higher end because it's only $30. The quality 7.6 because the quality of the materials, plastic's not as good as some of the other ones, but the fact that it's stainless steel and that it's plated gets it up there a little bit on that. Innovation 6.8. Not tons of innovation really other than the bottle. So that's the nerdy numbers. Bloopers are up next. And I've done a magnet. We should do the magnet test here in front of you. Blah, 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 of the nozzle on the Manifest. The Manifest. Slightly different. Our normal Ubaflex hose. We are running our normal. We're running our new. Oh my gosh! I just spattered all the microfibers on my drying rack over there, and I gotta rewash them all. A few cons. Really? Foam, middle of the pack.